You have to then go to this render properties panel, and you have to select here the cycles engine. Yeah. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you don't get this options to select the GPU if you have a GPU. Yeah. Maybe people can say what kind of graphics cards they have. Type it in the channel. Well, most systems, even if you have a laptop, have some kind of GPU, either as a device or in the CPU. I know it's sometimes like AMD has a GPU built into the CPU. Yeah. If you don't have a, let's do that also. We have to go to preferences again, and we have to go to system. Yeah, that's what I forgot. You go to your system, and then depending on what kind of system you have, it will select one of these here. In my case, and in most cases, it will select CUDA, but if you have like a Apple machine, it picks one of these other options. Yeah? And you have to click here which one you like to use. I never tried to click both. Yours is metal. Metal is what kind of system you have, Shanna? A Mac. Yeah. Well, I don't know what happens if you. Where that is. Under which one is that? Probably optic, yeah. So, and the rest, nothing to do with your setup. You can leave it like it is. But if you don't do that, if you uncheck this one, you can't select the GPU here on this side. Yeah? Okay, that's step one. And then we have here the sampling. What is sampling? Well, to make it easy, if you would have like a lamp here, yeah, you would say you would have a lamp here, the sun, and it shines on this object. Yeah, sampling is how often it tries to sample that light, the different rays, and the reflection of that light from the surface on calculating the exact texture. You get it? Gray? Like different scans, yeah. And you have to tell it how often that has to look at these light rays before it stops calculating your texture. If you would not bake any light into it, and any reflection, or any like transparent materials like water or glass, they take longer, then this could be very low. Yeah? If you just bake color and no light. If you make like renders, which has to be very realistic, these numbers would be very high, like a few hundred. Some people even use a few thousand. I think totally ridiculous, but you know, we would say, yeah, we are only using some ambient occlusion. And that's why this can be very low. Now there are two ways. There are two render settings. One is for the viewport, and that is what we see on our screen. And one is for the actually baking, which is for the texture we make, or for the render. Yeah. We know if we put, if we hit the F12 button. Oh, there's no camera in this scene. No, okay. But yeah, okay, so let's add a camera. I don't actually use a camera for baking. But let's add a camera. No. Don't. There's the camera. We add one. Where is it now? Do I see one? Oh yeah, probably it's in here. Yeah. So let's. That doesn't really matter. But if I press F, rotate on the Z-axis. Yeah, if I hit F12, then you get the camera view. This is not the viewport, but this is the actually render result. Yeah, looks kind of boring because no material is defined, but that's what this part is. What's seen. So that is the render settings here. Those settings are used for rendering. These are used for what you see on the screen. Okay. Well, we said I have it here set to like 24 for the viewport, so I get a kind of decent picture. I have even set lower here for my baking on 10. The higher you set this, the longer it will take to generate a texture. And in the past, you had to set it high, because if you didn't, you would see all that noise in your texture. Black and white noise. It wouldn't calculate. But little specks, yeah, but now these days we have this little checker box. You can denoise your texture. So if you do this, it will denoise and you get rid of these little specks. Important. Those have to be set, yeah. Why you want me to press 0 all the time? No, let's delete that camera. So you can play with this. You would, I could here say, well, if you're gonna bake, take at least 10 seconds. And this is, yeah, so sometimes you see, and then when you bake, you see the numbers running here. You see how, yeah, you saw that, I guess. Who didn't bake before? Anyone here who never baked? They all already. Only in the old blender. Which? Well, I don't know. What is the old blender? Before version 3, you mean? Yeah. So you can say, well, if you're gonna bake, take at least 10 samples. Don't stop calculating before you reach 10, and you stop at 24. Because sometimes it decides, yeah, I'm done, it says. You see the numbers running, and you set here like 250, and at 100 it suddenly says, done. Then it decided it already had enough information to make. Yeah, but it's not gonna get better. But you could also say, like here for your baking, well, your time limit, if you're not done after 5 seconds, then please stop. Yeah? If you have a very slow PC, that could be, and this is high, then during, no, what's the situation? I don't know. It depends on your system. Let's say you put here like 256, and you have a slow PC. This could take like 30 seconds. And each time you move your camera, it starts over. And each time you want to make a test bake, it takes 30 seconds. You could say here, well, during my experimenting and when I'm not really done setting this up, you can limit this time to 5 seconds or even 2 seconds, and then it will stop baking. Is there a general discussion going on? Yeah, so is that clear? That's about it. Yeah. Of course you need to set up some lighting in your scene. We've done that with limiter. You have to have lighting, so let's just try to make something simple. No. Don't tell me what to do. Yeah, Suzanne. I'm gonna put Suzanne here. Where monkey. It's hard to see. There she is. Let's go here. Well, she's still pale, yeah, so no. Let's start with a material, yeah. So we say new material. We can do that here. We can do that here in the material properties, yeah. Doesn't really matter. If I click here, new, then you get the same here, yeah. What shall we do? Let's use the metal we used last time, yeah. The metal mist. Yeah. Or shall we download one? No. Let's just add some textures, yeah. I click on the principal shader, so it's highlighted, and then I click, and maybe for Sasami, I didn't activate the screencast keys because Blender can't handle that. When you use the node editor, it will just do nothing anymore. So I have to say what we have to type here. Click the principal shader, and then you have the node wrangler enabled like the last time. Control Shift T. And we're gonna select some textures. And we're gonna select them from my Blender course, from my, why did we put them in the materials? And we have this metal plate textures. We download them from Polyhaven. You don't like that, huh? But I don't care. We take this one here. Let's take, we're not going to make a GLTF. We take the color information, we take the ambient occlusion, we take the normal map, and the roughness, and let's also take the specular for change. Yeah. No, I didn't know that, but I see it now. This one, the roughness, this one, and the AO. This was, that was the metalness. Let's take the metalness also. The bump map, no, we don't need it. Principal textures, we click and it will generate for us. This one I also want to be metal, yeah? Material. There she is. Well, this one actually, I didn't want it to be metal. I want it to be something shiny. Yeah. So let's here put some color on this one, like bluish, and some specular. We increase this one. No. Okay, this one here, we like some more detail on it, so we scale to 3 here. So, gray. What did we actually do now? No, what did we do? I'm gonna delete this one. This one, I'm gonna give it the same name as this one. Yeah, I want to show something first. Okay, this just has some color, yeah. So we see ambient occlusion. We see it, yeah. We didn't add anything. Okay. Let's bake something. Well, we only gave it color. We didn't add any textures, yeah? Can we bake? Yes, we can bake. Can we transfer this into a texture? Yes, we can. Let's look at the UV map. The UV editor here. Let's select the monkey. So when we will bake this color, and hopefully also the ambient occlusion, will be baked into a texture, and it will use this UV map. Yes. Okay, but which texture it will use? That's the question, of course. We have to add a texture, and we have to tell it where to put what, where to put the color information or the bump map or whatever we're gonna make. So we have to add a texture, an image texture. And I put it always on this side. You don't have to. It doesn't really matter where it is, but there has to be a texture with where it knows where to bake to. Okay, Where will it bake to? We make a new one. So this is the size of the texture it will bake to, and so that's the size of the texture it will upload to, or you will upload to Second Life. Yeah, I can give this any name like bake. Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. We don't use any alpha on this. This is going to be metal, so I switch this off and say OK. And now this texture can be selected also here. So it turns black. Meaning if I hit the bake button and I have this one selected, very important, selected, it will bake to that texture named bake. Very easy actually, yeah? So, now we can tell it to bake. So we go here, we go to these render properties and we scroll down all the way here where you see bake. And there are all kinds of settings. You have to tell it what to bake. Normally for this, like color with shadow, you select combined. There are different options where we can make all kind of maps. We can generate a normal map. So if we bake normal bumpiness, we select this one. If you want to make roughness, we select this one. If you just want to add color, we select this one. If you select diffuse, there won't be any shadow ambient occlusion in it. We select combined. Yeah, we do. No, I'm first going to select just the default, yeah, to see what happens, yeah. So, now I selected bake. This one selected, bake. Ta-da, you see here, boof, ready. And it made the bake. That was it. That's all what's to it, yeah? You see here, you see the ambient occlusion is already in here, yeah? You see also that the faces of the mesh are visible, yeah? Because, so this is not, yeah, I subdivided it by 2 times, but I didn't select smooth there. No, so let's do that. So shade smooth. That looks way better, yeah? And I bake it again. The faces disappear. Oh, you have a very good wife then. Well, I suspect the roles are kind of opposite of what you're saying. Yeah. So, when you're happy with your bake, you see here, if you go to these options, I don't know, menu, image, see a little star. It means you made a texture, but you didn't save it. It's not saved, so I can save it. Now, save as. No, save it anywhere, we'll save it. So here you can say, save my, I go to Blender course. Yeah, that's what I usually do. I make a folder. Yeah, depending on how complex the project is, you can make a folder for each object, or yeah. So, do I have a folder? No. Let's make one here. Create a folder, and I call that. Where is it? Where did it go? Here. Bakes. Bakes. And I save it as a bake. Well, I always use a kind of naming convention. We use, I call this one the diffuse div. Yeah, and div is like color plus ambient. Yeah. I save it. You can here save it as in different formats. Actually, did you know that this is the format Second Life uses internally? The JPEG 2000. Everything you upload is converted to that one inside inside Second Life. If you have transparency, use PNG. If you don't have, you can use this one. This one often is a little bit smaller in file size. But I'll usually leave it on PNG. I don't like thinking. RGB. Well, that's actually everything you have to select, and you just save it. Yeah. Now it's ready to upload. We are not going to upload. This is how it's done. Now, before we get into using any of the other textures we could put in there into our shader, we're gonna play with this ambient occlusion. So, suppose you're not happy with this. Huh? Maybe it's not enough, maybe it's too much, or, well, you're not happy with it. So we're gonna search for a ambient occlusion node. And we're gonna put that in here. We're gonna put it in here. Let's first just see what that does. Let's look at it. If you click this node, you see what it does. Yeah. Nothing happens if you change this setting here. It's the number of samples it takes. Yeah? I don't know. Usually it's 16. 16, I think it was. The color we could change. Doesn't really happen. Nothing happens really if we change this either. So it just calculates the ambient occlusion, and we want to make that more or less. Yeah. So we add a. What do you think our best friend is? this one has to go in. Yeah, this one. So here we can change. Here we can change the ambient occlusion. We can even reverse it, yeah? So even you could make a mask. Make a mask and the white shows all the places where there is some ambient occlusion, yeah? But here you can play with it. And you can also change the color, of course. So this is the place where you make it. You can extend the range here by sliding this. But you and then I put this in here. Of course, my color now is gone. The blue is gone. So I need, if I want the blue back, I need to put in a color. And that was, the color was under. You would say color, yeah, I always forget. My brain. Input, color, no. Where was the color? Who's gonna help me? I can use this one. No, yeah. Let's put some blue in here. This, or I just select this one here I liked, and then I put this one in here, and I can use this as a multiplier. And I put this one in here. What? Well, what? Yeah, because they use the same material. Yeah. Because. So now I can here play with this. You see there is some ambient occlusion here on the plate. There is, well, let's G, yeah, that increases here, yeah. So we see now here ambient occlusion and here also, meaning this the chin of the monkey is darkened by the plate and vice versa, yeah. If you don't want that, probably you don't, well, no, I wouldn't say that. You don't always want that, yeah? Because if you make an object, you don't know, depending on what it is, where it will be placed in Second Life, yeah? If there is something it's put on or not, or it's just maybe floating in space or whatever, yeah? The only one who knows is you, but so, and that's why sometimes you don't want ambient occlusion from other objects. Yeah? And maybe flipped over, yeah. It's a car. Yeah, the car was in an accident. Uh, no. So it's not so complicated, Jenna, as creating a new material. All you have to do is click this little button. I only want ambient occlusion from the object itself, and then it disappears. So it will only, as if the plate wasn't there, yeah? And for the plate, it would say as if the monkey wasn't there. There are a bunch of other options, like in the object settings. I'm not gonna. You can play with that in your own time. But I think it's also in no, the shading options. You can even turn. You can say to an object, well, if you're in a scene, don't cast any shadow, or don't be sensitive to receiving any shadow. Any shadow falling on me will be ignored. That kind of stuff. Normally, you won't use that. Um, this is how you deal with ambient occlusion. So instead of a color, I'm not sure if what happens if I turn this around and I make this one blue. Um, it has similar effects. Now, now it's just the AO, and now it's just the color. So normally, if you mix the two, well, you can do it like 100 because it's multiplied, yeah. I think in general you put the ambient occlusion in B, because this one is multiplied by what is going into B. Of course you bake this. So let's turn it on. I want some heavy here. Let's exaggerate it and make it very heavy, yeah. And then select the texture, go to the render and bake. Yeah, how silly. So you all have to, of course, you have to select the object you want to bake a texture for, yeah? Here, way more black. Well, you see, but you see there are hardly in there, no speckles. No speckles, yeah? No noise, no. So if you forget to turn on this noise here, then you get kind of this, yeah? And then you have to turn it up all the way up, maybe. Ah, well, that sucks. Don't do that. but you see, okay, now I have it here on 10. Well, 10 is kind of what you should enter. But if you would say like, oh look, let's try 5. You know, if your system is really, really slow, you can see what we can do a 5 and bake it. Bake. Yeah, so and it's very hard for me, you know, all the time I have to switch between myself and Gray to put myself in his shoes, and okay, how will Gray fuck this up? Okay, we're gonna add this metal, yeah? We add some metal. Before I do that, we say that we made the texture here, yeah? And this is a normal color texture. But suppose I just want to add now the bumpiness of this texture. So I'm gonna here put texture myself, image texture. Open it, image texture, and we go to the go to the materials, and I select the metal bumpiness. Yeah? This is not a color texture, it's a non-color, so we have to select all textures which are not meant and used as color, we have to put at non-color. So here we put a normal map. Yeah. And we put that into the roughness. Okay, you're paying attention. Normal. Do we see that on the screen? Do you see anything? Here we see it. If we display it, we see it. So it's there. It's there. Let's not pay too much attention to this. It's there. So now you want to make the normal map in the same UV layout as this one, yeah? Because we saved the color information, but we don't have the normal map for this monkey. It is already almost half past. How time flies. So we have to bake a normal map, yeah? But we cannot bake a normal map to an image which is a color. So what I normally do, I rename this one in diffuse, and I make a new one. I make a new texture, image texture, and I make a new one, and I call this normal. Same size as this one, of course. Boom, doesn't even have to be the same size, but would be nice. Can be the same kind of dimensions, or can be 512 by 512. Second Life doesn't care, but I use the same size. And I say, okay, make me the normal map, and I put this on non-color. So if I want to bake the normal now, I select this one, I select the object, and I go to the bake, and I select normal. Bake. Well, I made the normal map. It doesn't show much, however. What is going wrong here? This texture is there. It's put in here. Somehow it's not strong enough. I put it in here. Yeah? I did this. I made the boo-boo. The color has to go in the color. I was checking, of course. I was checking if Gray paid attention that he should say, well, no, you were too shy, of course. Yeah, now we see something, yeah? All doing all this work and nothing shows, and you didn't say, okay, why didn't go the color into the color, yeah? Well, you have to. If you know it all, I will be happy. And then you can do the next class. So here I can influence the strength, the strength of this normal map. If I want to, you see if I push it all up, it gets very rough, yeah, because there's noise in this texture. I can put all like no, just a little, just a little. No, 1.4. That's a 1.4 extra heavy. Well, we didn't use any scale yet. How do we use the scale? The scale. There are several ways to use. Yeah, the mapping node is one way. But if I select this one, the monkey, and I select everything, and I select the UV map, right? Some people near Atlanta would say, well, let's just select this and scale it. Yeah, that even could work. You are allowed to do that, but you cannot bake this. No, as soon as you do this, you need 2 UV maps. And one for the input UV map. And this actually is the way I used it, because the UV map for the input, like I showed you a few lessons ago when we did a brick wall on these arches, yeah? You played with the UV map and you arrange it in such a way that it would kind of follow the curves of the wall or the arches, yeah. And when you're done, then you saw it doesn't fit into the texture space. And that's kind of the normal situation in which you run into. And then I said, yeah, that's why we use 2 UV maps. Let's do that. So this is how it looks like. Now pay attention, because this is very important. And we go here to the object data properties. And we see here we have UV maps. This is the UV map called UV map. I want to change that. Yeah. I want to scale it, rotate it. I want to organize these islands. And normally you would want to do that. We can do that next time when we kind of use an actually object asset. And I call that UV map, or the input one, yeah. And I make here a new one. And I call this the SL map. Any name, yeah? But so this one is to kind of to arrange the UV map, so I like how the texture flows, and then this one I used for bake. I could also use this bake map. Yeah. This is not the bake map. This I will use as a bake map. That means that these textures, when I bake, have to use this map, but the shader has to use this map, UV map. How I do that? I add here an input UV map, which is a vector. This is the UV map. And these textures have to use this UV map. So I connect them here. I will. So now I'm telling, for the input, use UV map. For the output, I also select UV map. But I say for the baking, you use this map, the bake map. Yeah? Or you mean the reverse? I want to bake. So these are the textures I want to use for Second Life, and they will use the baked texture. Yeah? These have to generate the baked texture, but the input might be different. The input might use a totally different UV map. So when I now go here, we explained this before, this one is visible on the object because we see here the camera. So this is this one. If I change this one, scale it, then we have these little tiers or diamonds. But when this would be my normal setup. If I bake now, if I go to baking, and I bake my normal map, I have to select here normal. You don't have to be in edit mode. I say bake. Did something happen? Yeah. You see, these are kind of small. If I would select the other, no. I can't select the other. I could, but it falls outside the texture space, yeah? Bake. Baking map serves to this didn't change. I'm not gonna confuse you. No. Just remember you have bake. This is how you normally do it. So if I want to add the metalness, input, texture, input, texture, image texture, I open textures, metal is here, that's the roughness, this is the metal, open image, I select the color, this is not color information, this is non-color, this goes, the color goes here into the metallic, in here. Which UV map does this texture use? The same as the others, so this one goes into here. How do we now bake the metalness? Very carefully, you see, there is no metalness. There is no metal. No metal. But I want metal. So how could we do this? We could fake it. Well, mostly people, if it's not in here, pick this one. Emission. And you select the metal and you put it into the emission. Maybe it kind of looks silly, but I need the metal map, yeah? So I make a metal map, input, texture, new texture, image, metal, new, call this metal. Yeah, this looks good. This is a non-color. Select this. Let's see what happens. I have to select, of course, the texture. I have to make sure that the principal shader is connected to the output here. Select the metal texture and I click bake. Metal map in the UV map format. I can do the same for all these others also, yeah. You just have to make space. So the roughness, texture, image texture, go to materials, select the, what would be the roughness. Did we download that one? Was it this AO? No, we use this one, yeah. All three. So this is an ARM texture. Of course, it uses the same vector. We have to separate these like we did last week. So search separate color. Put the color in here. Roughness was green, and that goes into here. Roughness. We have metalness. The metalness. What did we have metalness? We put the metal in the emission, but now we also have the metal in this, yeah. ARM metal was blue, goes into metal. That's above here. I don't have so much. The blue goes into metal. This one we will just not use now. Why? What is confusing about this? Metal goes into metal. Yeah, that's not a problem if you're hungry. All you have to remember is get all the textures, put them in the right socket. If a socket is missing, put them in the emission. And yeah. Mm-hmm. So what did you write down now? Yeah, during the last 90 minutes. No, what did you write down about this lesson? Well, yeah, I can see this is wasted on you. Anyway, you have now, you're lucky, yeah? Tomorrow I will upload this video and you can watch it over and over and over. The only thing, because I know if I don't do this for like 6 months, I kind of really have to think about it again. You have also the sheets of the lesson. Yeah, so that's the trick. You have to bake a lot. So you go to Bake a Lot and you say, well, let's bake. So next week, I want to see what you people, no, next week you're lucky because I'm not here. Next week there is no class. Next week, yeah, I'm in Croatia. Well, I do have access, but I'm not gonna do any Blender class on my small laptop. So you have like 3 weeks to bake and bake and bake and bake. Any questions? At least 2 weeks. I leave Friday. I will be gone for 2 weeks, I guess. Unless I want to stay with my son longer. Yeah, I, I will be there. I could, of course, come into this channel next week and that you just show me what you baked. Yeah, let's do that. Huh? We could do that. Well, so was this yeah, I know this was difficult for you, Gray, but was it difficult for the other people? Yeah, most people did already baking class. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe it's because spaghetti is one of my favorite dishes that I liked it so much. Uh, um, of of course, you can change these lines so they look more straight and it looks less like spaghetti. You can color these things. Yeah, you can because I color them. That's in the sheet how I do that. Um, so like normal maps are always kind of pinkish. Um, okay, then I see you all next time and bake a lot. We didn't do all, of course. Did we skip some parts? Let me think. Yeah, there are some other topics like combined baking. Yep. So when you want to bake one object to another, or you want to bake a high poly to a low poly map. Um, so there are some other baking topics for next time. Okay. Yeah, I'm also gonna eat. Bye bye.